that doesn't work, call Trek. And if that doesn't work, send me a note because I'll take care of you.
In the owner's manual of every Trek bike, there is a line. If you have a problem with your bike, go and see your dealer. If that doesn't work, call Trek. And if that still doesn't work, send me a note signed by the president of the company, John Burke.
If you own a Trek, welcome to the Trek family.
His name is John Burke. He has been running Trek bicycles for more than 25 years. His father founded the company in 1976 with almost no money, but with values that changed everything.
My he passed away more than 15 years ago, but his fingerprints are all over Trek.
This year, Trek is 50 years old. And for the occasion, John invited me to the headquarters in Waterloo, Wisconsin. He talked about crises the company had been through, about women's cycling, about sustainability, and about what makes Trek a unique brand to his eyes.
I really believe this to my core is that 85% of Trek's problems and opportunities are within our walls. It's not outside. It's dealing with the brutal reality of what the issues are.
And then there is the moment where he tells me he asked AI what the odds were for a 50-year-old company of making it to 100. The answer? 8%. He said it laughing, but he still said it.
We're playing a game that nobody else plays.
50 years, 4 crises, and 1 wish for the next 50.
I wish that Trek in the next 50 years does 10 times more than it did in the first 50 years to help change the world.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest today, John Burke. John, what do you think makes Trek such a special company to you?
I think if you go back in time, I think it goes to my parents. My father started Trek in 1976 along with Bevel Hogg. He didn't start out with a lot of money when he was growing up. Neither did my mother. They worked hard. They saved their money. They're very humble people. And they care more about other people than they care about themselves. And that got passed on to Trek. My he passed away more than 15 years ago, but his fingerprints are all over Trek, and so are my mother. She's 93 now, but I think that generosity of spirit is a key foundation of Trek.
Is that something you tried to apply, or you are applying to the experience of the customer, like trying to have the best possible customer experience?
I think that's we say at Trek. The mission at Trek is we want to produce awesome products that our customers love, and we want to provide incredible hospitality, and we want to change the world by getting more people on bikes. So what we intentionally try to do is really make awesome products that people love. And what we really do well, better than anyone in the world, is we provide incredible hospitality. We take care of people. If you own a Trek, welcome to the Trek family. I answer every consumer email I get, put in the little owner's manual. If you ever have a problem with a Trek, see your Trek retailer. If that doesn't work, call Trek. And if that doesn't work, send me a note because I'll take care of you. We have a consumer NPS score of 96. And it's the highest of any company I've ever seen in the world, period. But the whole value of Trek or what we do, it's the way we always behave. We don't do it for a marketing campaign. We just do it because that's who we are.
What do you think is the limit to this model? Because in the past, you've acquired shops, for example, and during after COVID, with the situation of the bike industry, it had caused, let's say, maybe some problems, I would say. So what do you think is the limit to that model? If there is any.
I think, I've said this before, I think, there are a lot of, it's a very competitive environment. It's never been more competitive, but from Trek's point of view, there's also never been more opportunities. So we take a look at our business today and we see a lot of threats and we see even more opportunities. So what are the limits? The limits are how well Trek performs. And that depends on how good are our product people, how good are the engineers, how well do we take care of customers, how well do we manage international markets. It's a lot of it we control.
We've seen recently some companies struggling, sometimes small, sometimes bigger companies. Yeah. What do you think makes Trek a little bit safer at the moment?
We've been in business for 50 years, but we have a lot of people who have been here for a long time. If you take a look at, customer care, Lori Cook runs that. She's been here for 35 years. If you take a look at the sales group in the US, Paul Moran's been here for more than 35 years. If you go to Europe, Harold Schmiedel's been here for more than 20 years. If you take a look at product, Jordan runs the product group. He's been at Trek for more than 18 years. You look at marketing, and Dean Gore's been here for 35 years. There's a lot of experience here. There are people who've seen a lot of different things. I think that helps Trek. I also think Trek has a environment of continuous improvement. Like, we understand we have a long way to go. We got to improve everything every day. And that's the focus.
I feel like when you have a company that is 50 years old, you've seen a lot of challenges. This challenging at the moment, is it any bigger compared to the ones that the company already faced in the past?
Such a great question. I've said that I've been through 4 crises in my 42 years at Trek. This one's so fascinating because you had the bike boom, 20, 21, 22, and it's fish jumping into the boat. And then you had the bike bust, which you had super long lead times during the bike boom, and that creates a whole nother problem when demand goes down. It's been a hard puzzle for a lot of people to figure out. And, one of the things Trek has great relationships with its retailers, really great relationships. And I think maybe for some other companies that don't, it's more challenging. The bike bus for us, it's been a challenge. But I say this to the team. I think we're doing our best work now. In all the time I've been here, the best work is happening now. And I'm pretty optimistic about the future.
By the way, what do you think that Trek needs to put in place to be still there in 50 years?
I think I really believe this to my core, is that 85% of Trek's problems and opportunities are within our walls. It's not outside. It's dealing with the brutal reality of what the issues are. And it's also really figuring out, how can we do better on the product side? How can we improve our level of hospitality? And how can we get more people on bikes? It's a really good mission for Trek. And if we keep doing better at it, we'll be fine. But it's hard. I did a search on AI, and I said, successful 50-year company, chances of making it to 100. And it was 8%. We'll see.
I feel like some of the challenges, they also come from outside. Let's say we see a fierce competition with Chinese manufacturers, which sometimes were maybe not but were producers of Occidental back brands. How do you see this competition? Do you see it as an other challenge that you are equipped to face?
I think it is another challenge, and it's a significant challenge. So Trek's going to have to do an amazing job, and I think we will. But if I was a consumer, I would buy a Trek.
Why?
And it's not just because my father started the company and the family owns the company. I just take a look at Trek, and it's like we put out an amazing product, a very consistent product, cutting-edge product. The quality is excellent. But the service and the hospitality is better than anybody else in the world. Car companies, bike companies, computer makers, I don't care. We just take care of people. There's a number, it's an NPS number, and it's 96. You look at the warranty manual and it says, if you ever have a problem with your Trek, call the retailer, call Trek, and if that doesn't work, send me a note. I'll take care of you. Do you know any other company where the CEO says, if you ever have a problem, send me a note, I've got you? What's that worth? And I mean, the stories are crazy about what we do to make sure customers are happy. The other thing I think is really important for consumers is, if you trace back and say, what changed women's cycling? Trace it all the way back, and it really happened when somebody walked into my office and they said, do you know what's going on with women's cycling? I was just in Europe. And I go, no. And we were sponsoring a small team at the time. They said, the women are underpaid. The support's terrible. They stay in the worst hotels. They fly them in the night before and their equipment's lousy. And I said, I go, why don't we buy a women's cycling team? And we did. And Lizzie Deignan was 6 months pregnant, and we said, you know what? Let's hire Lizzie when nobody else would. And all of a sudden, we started to treat women the same way we treated the men's team. And we attracted all the best women's riders because we paid them well, we supported them well, and we won a ton of races. And then everybody started doing the same thing. If you take a look at the U.S. right now, there's a thing called NICA. And it's an organization for mountain biking for middle school and high school kids. And it says, with all the mental health crisis that the Western world faces today, it says, let's get kids outside, exercising, away from screens, competing, being with friends. Everybody rides every race and they get to do the whole thing. Trek's the main supporter of that. Trek has helped that organization more than all other bike companies combined. And Trek says, let's open that up in Australia. Let's figure out how to open that up in Canada. Let's help this organization. And then you go to sustainability and you go, well, who's been the leader of sustainability in the bike business? And the answer is Trek. And one of my proudest days, I was in a factory in Asia and I saw a bike from another company going down the line that was using our packaging. I'm like, great, that's progress. We set sustainability goals in 2032 that we met in 2026. What other companies doing that? So from a consumer's point of view, I want to buy a Trek because it's an awesome product, because nobody is going to take care of me better than Trek, and because that brand is an example for other companies and how they should run their businesses. That's why I'd buy a Trek. How'd I do?
I totally get that. In that, so in this podcast, Mike Sinyard said that what would, let's say, save a brand like Specialized would be the brand, where the Chinese factories, they don't have a brand yet. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
I just went through it.
Yeah, okay.
But there's the value of a brand because you have pretty pictures and you have expensive bikes. And then there's the value of the brand because you have amazing products, you offer the best service in the world, and you do more than every other company combined to change the world. That's a different kind of brand. We're playing a game that nobody else plays. And we do it because one of our goals is to use the company to help do good things. And that comes from my parents. And, you'll see, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about all the amazing things we've done because, this business is very competitive. So every day we work as hard as we can to continually improve everything we do. But on the 50th, it's a good opportunity to step back and look at our collection of work. Say, how do we do in 50 years? And the answer is really well. We've built a company that we can all be proud of. And when I say we, I mean Trek employees, I mean Trek retailers all over the world, and most of all, I mean Trek consumers, because without consumers, we're nothing. There's so many consumers who are so proud to own their Treks. And I love meeting these people, and they're a huge part of our company.
Claudio Mara from FSA told me about your conference about Louisville, about a city that pushes for making people ride more bikes. How do you think cities can make people ride more bikes?
Yeah, I think that's go to Copenhagen, go to Amsterdam, go to Holland. It's there. It's been there for
30 years.
30 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a mystery. If you build safe places for people to ride, people will ride. And the difference is so startling in the United States. If you say a trip is to school, to the grocery store, to the restaurant, to the playing field, that's a trip. In the United States, 1 out of 100 trips are taken by bike. If you go to Holland, the answer is 25.
The infrastructures are different.
Huge difference. It's all about the infrastructure.
Like in France, for example, we don't have very good infrastructures. Yeah. We struggle a lot with this.
But if you go to France and you go to Paris and take a look at Paris today and how many bikes are being ridden in Paris today, and go to Paris 10 years ago, the amount of bikes being ridden today, I would guess, is at least 5x because it's so much better of a place to ride. Paris is one of my favorite examples. Terrible place to ride a bike 15, 20 years ago. If you go there today, and I rode there last summer, way better. Progress.
Very good progress.
Yeah.
But we are not there yet.
No. Long way to go. Go to Copenhagen. And the world has problems. And I think 50 years from now, the number one problem is the environment. And for some reason, the conversation about the environment, which peaked maybe 5 years ago, has really declined. And it's not going away. And at some point, people are going to figure out that the bicycle is a really simple solution, partial solution to the environmental issue that this planet faces. This is the only planet that we have. Like, look at all the data. It's embarrassing. I've always said a simple statement: good government matters. And I really believe cycling plays a huge part in the future. Is it 3 years from now? Is it 10 years from now? Is it 15 years? Somewhere along the line, people are going to see we have to get people riding more bikes.
Do we need the help of politics for that?
Yes. If you go to Denmark and you go to Holland, they had the help of politics, but politics is not those people over there. We're the ones who elect these people. And if you trace the history of advocacy in Holland and you go backwards, it was because a group of citizens wanted more safe places to ride their bikes, and they won. And I've been involved in the effort, especially in the United States, and we've made some real progress. It was not easy, and there's a long way to go.
What can we wish to Trek for the next 50 years?
Well, I wish that Trek in the next 50 years does 10 times more than it did in the first 50 years to help change the world. That's what I hope. And I hope Trek continues to do an amazing job taking care of its customers. And I hope we continue to innovate on the bicycle side, because we've brought to the market some incredible innovations in the past, and I hope we do so in the future.
Is there anyone you would like to hear in an upcoming episode of En Roue Libre?
Ha! Wow.
In cycling.
Someone where?
Someone in cycling.
In cycling.
Yeah. Could be athlete, entrepreneur.
Yeah, I wanna oh wow. I think you should interview Jan Lemonnier, who's in charge of the ASO. I think that's a fascinating story.
Also? Which company?
ASO.
ASO. Oh.
Tour de France.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And they are they are in Paris, so easier.
Yeah. You can interview him. That would be really good. He's a good guy. He's a good guy in a very powerful position.
Excellent. Thank you so much, John. Thank you for your time, and happy anniversary.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming all the way to Waterloo, Wisconsin. That's very, very kind of you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.